Welcome to the St. Barnabas Daily Devotion for Thursday, the 16th of July. Today we're reading 2 Kings chapter 5 from verse 19b to verse 27. But after Naaman had travelled a short distance, Gehazi, the servant of Elisha the man of God, said, "Look, my master has spared this Aramean Naaman while not accepting what he brought. As surely as the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something from him." So Gehazi pursued Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running toward him, he got down from the chariot to meet him and asked, "Is everything all right?" "Everything is all right," Gehazi replied. "My master has sent me to say, I have just now discovered that 2 young men from the sons of the prophets have come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 sets of clothing." But Naaman insisted, "Please take 2 talents." And he urged Gehazi to accept them. Then he tied up 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, along with 2 sets of clothing, and gave them to 2 of his servants, who carried them ahead of Gehazi. When Gehazi came to the hill, he took the gifts from the servants and stored them in the house. Then he dismissed the men, and they departed. When Gehazi went in and stood before his master, Elisha asked him, "Gehazi, where have you been?" "Your servant did not go anywhere," he replied. But Elisha questioned him, "Did not my spirit go with you when the man got down from his chariot to meet you? Is this the time to accept money and clothing, olive groves and vineyards, sheep and oxen, men servants and maidservants? Therefore the leprosy of Naaman will cling to you and your descendants forever." And as Gehazi left his presence, he was leprous, as white as snow. Today's reflections are by Gus Cameron, who's one of our assistant ministers. Today's passage comes as a bit of a downer after seeing God's grace yesterday as he healed Naaman through the prophet Elisha. But I find myself feeling conflicted about it. On the one hand, it's easy to understand why Gehazi is resentful of Elisha healing Naaman, because Naaman is the commander of the army of Israel's enemy. Yet it's also clear that Gehazi goes behind Elisha's back to lie and steal. Jealousy can drive us to do things we know we shouldn't. As I read this, I was reminded of some of the parables Jesus told, particularly to the Pharisees who were jealous of and looked down on those Jesus welcomed. In the parable of the prodigal son, the older brother is jealous when his father lavishly celebrates his younger brother's return. In the parable of the workers in the vineyard, the workers who were hired first are jealous that those hired later receive the same wage. In the parable of the unforgiving servant, the servant whose enormous debt has been forgiven refuses to show the same mercy to his fellow servant. Jesus wants us to know that none of us deserves forgiveness, yet in his great love God has forgiven us. So let's examine our hearts. Are we grateful for what God has done for us, even though we don't deserve it? And are we glad when God shows grace to others, even to those we find difficult to love or think deserve it the least? Perhaps today would be a good day to pray for someone you find it hard to pray for. Ask God to save them or grow them in their love for him, and ask him to help you find joy in his grace towards them.